The Return of Benita. In the serene African village of Umuchukwu, the royal palace stood as a beacon of authority and tradition. Within its golden walls lived Queen Ugomma, the beloved ruler, known for her wisdom and compassion. But not everyone in the palace shared her kind reputation. Years ago, her elder sister, Benita, had also lived in the royal house, a woman whose presence was enough to make the bravest servants tremble. Benita was a storm in human form, her sharp tongue and fiery temper leaving no one unscathed. Her demeanor was so cold that even royal visitors preferred to avoid crossing her path. Servants whispered in corners, telling tales of her sharp rebukes and the impossible standards she set for everyone around her. But years ago, Benita had left the palace to pursue business and education in faraway lands. Her departure had been a breath of relief for the maidens, servants, and even the villagers who visited the palace. Peace reigned in her absence. Yet, the calm was shattered one fateful morning when news spread through the village like wildfire. Benita was returning to the palace. The palace gate swung open with a loud creak, and there she stood, tall and imposing. Benita had aged gracefully, but the piercing look in her eyes and the firm set of her lips sent shivers down the spines of everyone gathered to welcome her. The palace maidens, who had been reluctantly assembled to greet her, quickly lowered their gazes to avoid her sharp eyes. "Where is Ugomma?" Benita demanded, her voice as commanding as ever. Before anyone could stammer out a response, Queen Ugomma appeared from the grand hall, her calm and graceful presence a stark contrast to her sister's fiery aura. "Sister," Ugomma said warmly, walking up to embrace her, but Benita only offered a stiff nod. "It's been so long. We have missed you." "Have you?" Benita replied, her tone indifferent. She brushed past the queen and made her way into the palace, her sharp eyes scanning the place as if searching for faults. Benita's return was like a storm descending upon the palace. The servants whispered amongst themselves, remembering her strict rules and quick temper. She wasted no time asserting her presence. "You call this clean?" she barked at Ugomma, one of the palace maidens, pointing at a perfectly polished vase. "I can see my reflection, but not well enough." "Do it again." The poor maiden scurried away, trembling. At dinner, Benita criticized the cook's meal, calling it bland and unworthy of royalty. "Did you forget how to season food in my absence?" she snapped, pushing the plate away. Even the palace guards were not spared. She inspected their uniforms and scolded them for the slightest imperfections. "A guard who looks sloppy is a guard who cannot protect," she declared. The once lively palace became a place of fear and tension. Maidens and servants avoided Benita at all costs, darting into hidden corners whenever they heard her approaching footsteps. Queen Ugomma, aware of the unrest her sister was causing, decided to have a private conversation with her. She found Benita in the grand hall, inspecting the tapestries. "Sister," Ugomma began gently, "I see you've been very involved since your return. But I must ask you to be kinder to the people here. They are doing their best." "Kinder?" Benita scoffed. "Their best isn't good enough. This is a royal palace, not a playground. Standards must be maintained." Ugomma sighed, placing a hand on her sister's shoulder. "You've been away for so long, Benita. Life isn't just about perfection. It's about harmony. These people look up to us. We are not just their rulers, we are their family. You must learn to lead with grace, not fear." For the first time, Benita's stern expression softened. She lowered her gaze, uncharacteristically quiet. That night, Benita reflected on her sister's words. Memories of her time away surfaced, moments of loneliness, failures, and the harsh realities of the outside world. She realized she had been projecting her frustrations onto those around her. The next morning, she gathered the maidens, servants, and guards in the courtyard. Her voice, usually sharp, carried a softer tone. "I know I've been hard on you," she began, her words surprising everyone. "I've demanded perfection and have been blind to your efforts. For that, I apologize." The crowd stood in stunned silence. Could this really be Benita speaking? "I promise to do better," she continued. "We are a family, and I will strive to treat you as such. Together, we will uphold the dignity of this palace without fear." Her words were met with hesitant applause, but over time, the palace began to warm to the new Benita. She made an effort to show appreciation, offering kind words instead of harsh criticism. Though she still held high standards, her approach became more understanding. Moral of the story: leadership is not about instilling fear but about inspiring respect and harmony. True strength lies in humility and the ability to acknowledge one's faults. Benita's return, which had once spelled doom for the palace, became a story of redemption and growth. In time, she transformed into a respected figure, proving that it's never too late to change and lead with compassion.